You are now in the arena. Welcome to Gridiron, presented by Underdog.
Whoa, whoa.
We've got an exciting show today and a special guest, but let me first introduce my boys. We've got one of the most prolific figures in the history of sports media and the man who's never lost a debate, Skip Bayless! Super Bowl champion, 5-time Pro Bowler, and 2-time All-Pro cornerback, Aqib Talib! All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle, Gerald McCoy! 4-time Pro Bowler, and the man you want having your back at all times, Richie Incognito! And a very, very special guest.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's going to take a minute to get through this man's accolades because we've got two-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, and more and more and more, Von Miller!
So we got to know, what was it like playing with that man to your right?
Man, it was amazing. As I get older and you go back through your Rolodex of memories, Aqib Talib is in 80% of those. You know, on my podcast, when I'm talking about stories and this and that, I'm leaning on some of the stuff that Aqib Talib did or we saw or some of the stuff he told us before games, especially around this time. You remember when we were getting ready for Super Bowl 50, we all sitting at that table playing dominoes? And he said, hey, I'm about to win Super Bowl 50 MVP. He's like, man, I'm about to lock him down. He's like, fam, y'all just go rush.
He was there.
He was there. Chris was there. Then Chris being Chris, he was like, no, man, I'm gonna have 2 picks, take him back to the crib. I'm gonna win Super Bowl MVP. And Emmanuel, being Emmanuel, was like, man, y'all tripping. That's an offensive award. I'm about to have 3 touchdowns, this and that, and I'm gonna win the Super Bowl MVP. And I was the last one. I was just trying to jump in and be with these guys. I was like, man, I'm about to win Super Bowl MVP. I'm gonna have a couple of sacks. Fast forward a week later, and it happened. So that shows you like the power of the tongue and having teammates and guys around.
I definitely thought I was
like
gonna win that motherfucking scale.
Well, you had won the Orange Bowl MVP, which was hard to win, right?
I thought I was gonna win that motherfucking scale.
Lead confident? What?
I know.
Super
I thought I had it scale.
Yeah.
It was contagious too, because he had our whole team ready to go. So
Nah, for real.
So did he talk as much as anybody on the team, locker room, practice, you know?
yeah, the Aqib y'all getting on the show is the Aqib we got in the locker room for sure.
I be trying to tell him. You know?
That's great. And then what happened that day against Cam Newton? How did it unfold for you as you won MVP?
So for me, that process had started like a couple of days before. Future had dropped the album like the day before. Evol, Love Backwards, the album. And us being Future fans, we listened to that whole album.
Cranking.
And I remember I had sent it to Lee, I think it was Program, and at the beginning of the song, Future had said, we about to win so big. And I was like, wait, hold on. They already saying that they gonna win? Because Future had been with Cam Newton like that whole season. So it's just like little stuff like that had got me going. It's like, no, I'm whatever it takes for us to win this game, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I think whenever you're playing for somebody else too, early in my career, that was like my 5th year. It wasn't about sacks, it wasn't about contracts, it wasn't about playing time, anything like that. I just wanted to win for the guys around me, whether it's Peyton Manning, Wade Phillips, Kubiak, DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib. I had all these guys that I wanted it for. That season was special for us too. We spent a lot of time together too, like abnormally. Probably
college,
probably 5 days out of the week we hung. So I really wanted to win that for my guys, and I think whenever you're doing something for somebody else, it's able to pull the most out of you.
Do you remember what the music that you was playing in the locker room?
Yeah, that techno stuff.
Hey, look, we played Future all year. It's straight rap. Super Bowl day, Von and that be and then like straight techno blasting. Ain't nobody say shit. We all was in there feeling that shit.
Yeah, it was nucleus.
It was crazy.
That nucleus, the 80s.
It was crazy.
80s like breakdance like music. Yeah. We just tapped in. It was
it was wild. Like while we did that, we put that shit on. That shit had us turn the fuck up. It was crazy,
man. Yeah.
I always wanted to ask this because I'm good friends with Robert Ayers. And, you were on the team that played against the Seahawks, but y'all had tons of injuries. And Rob always tells me he believes if we were fully healthy, we would have won that game. You feel the same way?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm probably the most optimistic guy you're going to come across. I definitely agree with that. I was on the bench. Chris Harris was on the bench. both injured. Ryan Clady.
Derek Wolf didn't play. Y'all was missing a lot of people, man.
We missed a lot of guys. And you always want to say the strongest part of the team is the team, but sometimes injuries, they do take a toll, especially when you get to that point, going against a team like the Seattle Seahawks, one of the best defenses in NFL history. And it's a shame, too, because that year, offensively for the Denver Broncos, was probably the most prolific year for our offense that would never get talked about. Peyton Manning broke the touchdown record. 5 players on that team, 5 guys on that offense had at least 10 touchdowns. And it'll never get talked about because what happened in that Super Bowl. Very first play, ball goes over your head, and it was downhill after that.
So in that game, MVP game, why were you so unblockable? I mean, literally
Mike
unblockable
Rimmers.
all over Cam all day long.
Mike Rimmers, so that's why.
Well,
Mike Rimmers wasn't
we'll
blockable.
let him say that.
I had made that game personal, for me.
Yeah.
Me and Cam, we had like our lives, like he's number 1 pick, I was number 2 pick, played in the Super Bowl, had played each other before. And for me, I really wanted that game, not only for me, but for my guys. Like the speech that we had the night before the game, I don't remember it word for word, but Peyton Manning and DeMarcus Ware, they had us ready to go. Like I wish I could have like a transcript of what they said and what they did. But that momentum carried all the way over into the game. We were ready to go. We were ready to go play for those guys. And that was really one of 2 games where I wasn't nervous. Usually you have like some nerves about you going into a game, like some jitters or something. I was ready to go. I was ready to go in the game. They had missed me with my IV probably 5 times, had went arm to arm. Usually I trip out, like, man, what y'all doing? I was like, man, come on, let's just go to the next arm. I was just dialed in and ready to go.
They're missing you with the needle?
That be the worst.
Bro, that happened at the Pro Bowl. I remember pregame at the Pro Bowl, 2015, 16, like that. They were trying to stab you in the arm with the IV, and they couldn't hit you, and they're stabbing you. You look like you're about to pass out. Yeah, you start tripping. I was like, Vaughn, just breathe, bro.
I hate needles. I really hate needles. And everybody know it too, especially like the medical staff on my team. They know it. Like I just got like a little anxiety when it comes to needles. And
But you got hella tattoos.
Hella tattoos. I got 1 big tattoo, like all over my body, feet, everything. But that specific day missed me on the IV, and I wasn't tripping. I was like, man, we just gonna go out here and go
What
play.
was the IV for? Just
It's just fluid.
Yeah,
it's just fluid. It just becomes part of your routine, like before games and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, what you've done in your career is extraordinary, but now you're a free agent. What's next for Vaughn?
I don't know. As I get older, I really bought into the belief that nothing in life happens by coincidence. So whatever it is for me, I'll be ready to go. I do know one thing: I'm gonna play next year for sure. I think
Love that.
the success that I had last year as an individual, it teed me up to play this year. I don't know about the year after that or year after that, but this coming up year, I got to roll the dice again. You know how I go: if you hit and I'm one, I'm up. I got to roll the dice
And then
one
you
more
say
time.
you had 9 sacks.
9 sacks.
Shit, I thought you had like 2.
No, 9 sacks. I gotta.
Yeah.
9 sacks.
It'll energize you. I talked to Cam Jordan, and Cam Jordan had 10 sacks. He
10
was
and a
on the
half.
brink. He had 10 and a half sacks. He said, gee, I'm playing another 2. So it's some truth to what he's saying. It's like, you get that joke, you're like, oh, okay, I still got some. So, yeah.
Dan Quinn did an incredible job, too. For what our record was, it's not a clear indicator of the type of coach that he is or the type of coaching staff that we have. 5 wins is always tough, at the end of the season. But he did a great job keeping the morale up throughout the entire season, taking care of the vets. I didn't practice on Wednesdays. The only day where I would practice was Thursday. Go out there on Friday, rest on Saturday, play on Sunday. And because sometimes coaches have like an element of pride into it. They want the vets to be out there. Remember when we was in Denver? Coach Fangio, he wants you to be calloused. He wants all the guys to practice. This is football. We got to be out there every day consistently. With Dan Quinn, he didn't have none of that. He wanted me to be as healthy as possible so I can make it later in the season, and that's what happened.
Do you want to go back to Washington, or would you like to finish in Denver?
Yeah. Well, I'm still a taking man, so I'm still in the contract with the Washington Commanders. That deal will be up in March. I have a very special relationship with those guys, whether it's Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, the GM. I would love to be back. I'm loyal. I'm loyal like that. I feel like we got unfinished business over there with those guys. I think the type of season that we had, 5 wins, it'll be a motivator. Terry barely played. Jaden Daniels barely played. And I think that momentum will carry over to this 2026 season, and they're going to be hell to deal with. Like I said before, nothing in life happens by coincidence. So if something were to happen and I'm not a Washington Commander, I would love to go back to the Denver Broncos. It's unfinished business for me in Broncos country. I was traded mid-season. I didn't have that ability to get that closure. I didn't even know what my last game in that stadium would be. I would love to go back for Broncos country and the fans and be able to contribute to the Broncos the same way DeMarcus and Aqib and all those guys did for us.
So before we get to our Super Bowl topics, the other thing that intrigues me about you is you're successful off the field with your greener pastures chicken. So you're raising chickens in the Dallas area, right?
Yeah. So it's Elgin, Texas. It's right outside of Austin.
Oh, it's outside of Austin.
We have a pasture-raised, organic, non-GMO, humanely raised product. Everything I do, I try to be the best at it. And whenever I ventured over to the poultry space, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to have the product that everybody's talking about. If it's a Super Bowl to win, when it comes to chicken, I want to win it. We're very, very proud of the way that we raise our birds over there. We have the only USDA approved pasture-raised chicken operation in the United States. We're on 33 acres. I've been doing it for 9 years. Recently, in the last 3 years, we've scaled up. We have our own production plant. The only thing that we don't have currently is a hatchery. And once we tap into our own hatchery, we'll be fully vertically integrated from hatching all the way up to the production plant. So greener pastures chicken, I'm biased. I feel like our birds taste differently than any other bird out there. But everybody that tastes it, they say the same thing. So it's very, very tasty. And I feel like you can taste the type of lifestyle that they live.
We have a couple of questions from the fans I want to ask you. One is, in your whole career, who was the hardest quarterback to sack?
Man, it was a point in time where nobody wanted to play Russell Wilson. It was a point in time in football history where Russell Wilson was a dog. Nobody wanted to play against him. He would run around all day. He was super hard to sack, find Golden Tate over the top. Like, they were demons, like, on that team. And then it was a point in time, too, where nobody wanted to play Cam Newton. Now he got the dreads, and, like, you got the younger crowd that don't really know, like, the type of player that he was. And they see him, and they're like, oh, man, this guy goofy. He don't get the respect from the younger guys. But I tell you, he brought the best out of me. Every single time that I played the Carolina Panthers, he brought the best out of me because I knew the type of player he was. So Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, those guys are incredibly tough to sack.
And who was the toughest offensive lineman that you've gone against?
Man, they all sorry, man. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's definitely in that same realm. There's some guys that you got to be on your A game to have success that day. And I think that list starts with Trent Williams, Lane Johnson. Trent Williams, Lane Johnson. Joe Alt, I haven't played him, but I've seen him. I've seen his film. He's a demon as well. Garrett Bowles, like these last couple of years, he's taken jumps to be one of the best tackles in the NFL. So, and I practice against Garrett Bowles, so I know how hard it is to get around that guy. So Garrett Bowles, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Joe Alt.
Let's get to the drama here, because Cameron Jordan had some choice words for Josh Allen. He said, quote, Josh Allen has proved what I believed in him. He can't win those big games right now. And then he doubled down. I'm going to play it on my laptop for you guys because you got to hit listen
Of these three, with the situations they're in next year, which has a better shot at getting to the Super Bowl? Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
I mean, Joe Burrow has proven he can get to the Super Bowl. I would love to see Lamar Jackson get to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, if I thought anything, I thought this was the year.
Yeah, of course.
I said,
they're all out.
All these guys are out. It's his time. And he proved what I thought about him. He plays excellent during season. He shows up. He is Superman. And at the same time, he can't win those big games right now. Again, he can always switch up the narrative years from now to next year, whatever that is. But right now, I'm turning around and I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. Hey, you've got Zay Flowers now. You've got Kyle Hamilton now. You've got, you got a D-line with John Jenkins in there. Let's draft you an edge. You have, Marlon Humphreys. You have these players. You have the ability. It's got, for me.
So he's pretty set on how he feels about Josh Allen. So I need to know how the guys are feeling about Josh Allen. Vaughn, what do you make of Cam Jordan's comments?
I know both of those guys pretty well. I ain't like it. It sound a little bit personal to me. You know, do you know how hard it is to win the Super Bowl? It's extremely hard to win the Super Bowl. Not always the best quarterback will win the Super Bowl. Not always will the best team win the Super Bowl. It's an element of luck that's involved to get there. Josh Allen did everything that he could do for his team, and things just don't go his way. His Super Bowl window will be open as long as he's playing football. The type of season that he had this year, without a true number one receiver, without a dominant defense, gonna get the ball back. It was just him and James Cook, and he was able to do that. If you go back to the Broncos game, which I watched, it was the Vaughn Bowl. I watched the Bills play the Denver Broncos in that game. He made some mistakes in that game. The rush right before halftime where he fumbled the ball, bounced back, was able to give him 3 points early. Other than that, though, he played an extremely solid football game. The pass at the end of the game, people will talk about that one to Brandon Cooks, the catch or not. We this close from him catching that ball and those guys advancing on to play the New England Patriots. And I like to think if they play the New England Patriots for the AFC Championship game, that the Buffalo Bills win that one. We'll never know, but that's just my opinion. Josh Allen, you can make an argument for him being the best quarterback in the NFL. And if he's not one, he's two. And if he's not two, he's three. And those ratings will rotate weekly. Josh Allen has what it takes to win a Super Bowl. And I think with that comment, he just created a monster right there. Me knowing Josh and the way he get down, he going to play it off and act like it's not true. But this next year, 2026, Buffalo Bills under Joe Brady, they're gonna be held to deal with.
What was he like as a teammate?
Man, Josh Allen, I played with some good ones. Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen. He embodies everything that you want from a guy. Obviously, what you do on the field is the priority. Well, he goes above and beyond that. He's a great quarterback on the football field, and he's like a D lineman. He's a defensive guy, walking through the locker room. You just got to have this aura about you. Some guys have it, some guys don't. Some guys have to try at it, some guys don't. When Josh Allen walked through the locker room, when he walked by guys, he knows everybody by their first name. He knows everything about everybody. Take a picture with your son, knows all the coaches. He's not just quiet in there, which some guys are like that, and however you go about your business, how you go about your business. But Josh Allen is the total package of what you want from a franchise quarterback. And that Super Bowl window will be open as long as Josh Allen's playing football.
Yeah. I want to jump in because I love Cam. Cam's my guy. He's an Arizona guy. He's from Gilbert. But yeah, he's far off with these comments because this was this was Josh's best chance to win a Super Bowl. Look at the roster. Man. Look at who he's throwing the ball to.
Yeah.
His number one receiver is a three everywhere else. They got the great run game, like you said. It's Josh and James Cook versus everybody.
He beat all of those guys that you would say.
Yeah,
he beat the Chiefs. He beat the Bengals. He beat all the quarterbacks that you would say he would have to go through.
He beat Lamar in the playoffs last year
to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I think that's a little bit personal for me.
They come up short. It's more to do with the team. Yeah. It's like Josh can't be a pass rusher. Josh can't go back there and play safety. Mm-hmm. Josh is making do with what they have. And for me, it's my opinion that this was the worst roster they've had in the last couple of years. When they were in the 12-second game against Kansas City, and when you guys were there, you guys were stacked. You had Steph, Gabe. The offensive line's been great, but there were playmakers all around, and so they're one play away from advancing to the AFC Championship. They've won 5 AFC East titles. They've been in the division round 6 years in a row, and Josh has a really big part of that. But to say that he'll never get over the hump, he plays tight, and this, that, and the other. I hope Superman sees that. I hope.
He's won big games before. I guess the playoff game is a big game, so he won playoff games. But if we're putting a standard on it, and we're saying that the championship games, Super Bowls, AFC championship game or the Super Bowl, those are the two big games. He hasn't won them, right?
Yeah.
So
Lamar hasn't even been to them.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I put Lamar in that boat. I put Josh Allen in that boat. If you ain't played in the Super Bowl, if you ain't won the conference championship game and played in the Super Bowl, then hey. We put Sam Darnold in that boat. Now he jumped his ass off the boat. You feel me? So it's a spade is a spade, bro. I mean, he might have kind of went overboard with the comments, but Josh Allen ain't won the big game. Yeah. I mean, he won a divisional, but is that a big game?
He did Say, Cam,
We
say.
playing a lot of divisionals, fam. You know what I'm saying?
That was the standard. We knew we was gonna play
we knew we
up.
was going to divisional like that. We wanted to win a conference championship or the Super Bowl. We gotta do that. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't done it yet. So he might have put a little extra sauce on the comments, but I don't think he lying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and then he kind of was biased with it because you said, I'm looking at Lamar. Like, but Lamar ain't did shit neither.
Yeah, right? What?
So put them in the same boat. Put both of them in the same boat.
Lamar did lose a home AFC championship.
Yeah.
So,
Home, away, I don't care. To me, I think this was the most pressure that Josh Allen had on him. Just the simple fact that all the big dogs wasn't there. It was like, damn, I'm supposed to win it this year. Like maybe he's not supposed to win it when Mahomes and them there. He's not supposed to win it when Lamar and them there. But shit, you had a lot of pressure on him this year, and shit, he ain't winning, man. So hey, call a spade a spade.
We have to go with, like Lieb said, the reality of what is. The what is it hasn't happened. So Cam saying that it hasn't happened. Him bringing Lamar into it is where it goes to, all right, dog, you might have something against Josh. Because if you look at all those games, he lost to Mahomes, but when he left the field, he put his team in the end zone.
They had the lead.
He put his team in the end zone, and then obviously Mahomes is Mahomes. This year, I feel like it's the only year where that is valid because Josh, those tears he was crying wasn't from like, dang, we lost. I believe this is the first year where we really can be like, dang, Josh, you really was out there tripping. Like, turning the ball over that much. Yeah. And even with that happening, he put his team in position to win. But without all of those turnovers, they're not even in that position. So, but the reality is, and I agree with Lieb, he just put extra on it. But you can't say Cam is wrong for how he feels because it hasn't happened. Now, how you paint the picture of how you want to look, okay, is one thing. But the reality is it hasn't happened. And that's why I'm one of those people, man, I hate to allow people to be right. You know what I'm saying? Because he hasn't won it, we can say, oh, Josh, he can't win the. But if you go look at what Josh did, and when the last time he touched the field, what happened? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But again, that's why I said, what should happen with the Bills? Go get defense. Because he keep losing because your defense can't stop the other side after I got us a bucket. So, you know.
Well, this defense was talented. They led the league in passing yards. Did they have like the players, the star players that you'd be accustomed to on Super Bowl defenses? No, they didn't. But the Coach McDermott scheme, his scheme has always been better than the players that he's had on his defense. That's been true for the last couple of years. This offense that they had with the Buffalo Bills has been held together by tape. Like, what receivers do they have out there? Keon Coleman, he's very, very talented, all the potential in the world, but it just hasn't blossomed yet. I look forward to those guys to get a guy like AJ Brown. Yeah. You pair him up with a evolving Keon Coleman, and you mix in, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. It's always going to be led by James Cook. Josh Allen do his thing. They just need one more star wide receiver.
About Pickens going to Buffalo.
Yeah, Pickens. Buffalo. We'll see.
I know. You're sorry, Skip. Sorry, Skip.
I have a question for Vaughn. Was that Brandon Cooks? Was that controversial play at the end? Was that Brandon Cooks play a catch or was it interception?
I come from the school of the no-fly zone. If he just go in there with the ball, and if the wide receiver, if the DB, when they fall, if he doesn't catch that ball and the ball just falls out, right? Let's look at it from that angle. Right. Say if the ball just came out, it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
I think the controversy comes from it was a brutal interception, but if he was able to just knock the ball out and he come up the same thing that they would say, oh, he didn't have control of the ball, this and that, it would be an incomplete pass. I think where the controversy comes from is that it was ruled interception. But no way, no shape, no form, no how was that a call. Like, that was not a catch. It was not a catch.
You can't hit the ground and lose the ball and it's a catch. Like, that don't happen.
It wasn't a catch.
So, do I think that Josh Allen's a born loser? I do not. Do I think he's a playoff choker? I do not. Do I think he's capable of winning a Super Bowl? You better believe I think he's capable. The week before at Jacksonville, which was no walk in the park for the Bills, he was Superman in that game. He took that game over against a hot team in a tough place to win. And yet, against Aqib's team and that defense, by his standards, he stunk that day. And that's why he cried. To your point, he stunk. And I said Superman was more blooper man. And that end of the half fumble, that's just you can't do that. But it all started with James Cook, as you point out. But he led the league in rushing, and then they're going in for the 14-3 touchdown, and you're up in the box in Denver, and you're sweating, man. And all of a sudden, he gets stripped at like the 10-yard line, and that opened the floodgates. And then Josh turns it over twice, and then both those throws, the one to Brandon Cooks, he was gone for a touchdown, and it was an underthrow. He had to stop and wait for it, and that's why there was any controversy at all. Okay, so he had a bad game. He did a lot of good things in the game, too, to keep him in place. We're in position. But he had a bad game, and to your point, will this just create fury inside that man? Yes, it will. And I'm glad that Cam said this, because that fire is going to be lit. And
Skip is a little salty about that game because
I lost at dinner.
So
He loses hard.
yeah, that was a little personal on that one.
But here's my question, because V, you said he has to get one of those guys or one of those weapons. Well, he had one in Diggsy, and they was getting that touchdown to go ahead. Yeah. But the defense couldn't get the stop. That's what, every time we look back, it's Mahomes. Remember, they changed the NFL rule because of that game. Because they said both teams need a shot. You know what I'm saying? So he can get a guy on offense, but if they can't go get somebody to go stop, you know what I'm saying?
It's a science to win it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I do want to
figure it out.
Vaughn's got a busy week. This week is Super Bowl week, so we don't want to take too much of your time. So we want to thank you so much for coming on the show. And you got to get out of here. You're a legend. Thank you